very good evening and welcome to the news tonight. Your one stop for the day's top stories from India and across the world. I'm Sushil, and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you all of that. But first, the headlines. Miraculous rescue on the deadly slopes of the Siachen Glacier. One of the Jawans trapped 25 feet under snow for 6 days is pulled out alive, along with the bodies of the remaining 9 soldiers killed in the avalanche. More pointers at the ISI Lashkar nexus on day 2 of David Headley's deposition on the 26/11 attacks testifies that Pakistan's ISI and the Lashkar-e-Toiba worked in close coordination for the attacks. Former Prime Minister of Nepal, Sushil Koirala, passes away at age 79. Sushma Swaraj leads an all-party Indian delegation for the funeral. In Hong Kong, government crackdown on illegal street food vendors turns violent. Dozens are arrested in overnight clashes between protesters and riot police over selling of street food on the Chinese New Year. And 3-time champions India steamrolled Sri Lanka to enter the ICC Under-19 World Cup final. They face the winner of the Bangladesh-West Indies semi-final now. We're starting with what is nothing short of a miracle. The survival of Lance Naik Hanumantappa Kobat, the only survivor of the 10 soldiers who went missing last week when an avalanche hit their post in Siachen Glacier. Rescue teams pulled him out alive from under 25 feet of snow in a critical condition, and doctors now say that the next 48 hours are crucial. Here's a report.
Pulled out to life from the jaws of death. Lance Naik Hanumantappa spent close to 6 full days under 25 feet of snow after an avalanche hit his post at 19,600 feet on the Siachen Glacier. And he lives to tell his tale. Intensive rescue operations using radars and heavy equipment have gone on at those peaks since tragedy struck on the 3rd of February.
एक बॉडी जो है लाइव मिली है, वो बॉडी नहीं है, एक जवान लाइव हालत में मिला है, एंड इट्स एब्सोल्युटली अ मिरेकल बिकॉज 25 फुट स्नो के नीचे था, और 25 फुट स्नो के नीचे टेम्परेचर बहुत ही डाउन होगा.
The Prime Minister visited Lance Naik Thapa in hospital soon after he was flown to Delhi from the glacier on Tuesday. He said to be critical still. Doctors hope the miracle can prolong itself.
ಹಿಂದಿನ ಪ್ರಯಾಣ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜಿಯವರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ತಾಯಿಯವರು, ನಮ್ಮ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್ ತಾಯಿಯವರು, ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರೇರಣೆ ಬಾಳಿದೆ. ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊತ ರೀತಿಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಕರೆನ ಪುನರ್ಜನ್ಮ ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತದ. ಮತ್ತೇನು
ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದೆ?
ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದೆ ರೀ. ನಾವೀಗ ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆನೇ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಸೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಯಾವಾಗ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೇನು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸಾಗ್ತಿದೆ.
ಭರವಸೆ ಇತ್ತು ರೀ. ಅದು ಭರವಸೆ ಏನಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಮಗ್ಗಲ ಬಂದು ನಾನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಕನಸಿನ್ಯಾಗ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಂಗೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ರೀ. ಅದು ನನಗೆ ಕನಸಿನ್ಯಾಗ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತಿದ್ರಿ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಾನು ಮನಸ್ಸು ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡೇನಿ ರೀ.
9 other army personnel of the Madras regiment who were crushed under the avalanche with Hanumantappa are confirmed killed. 5 bodies have been recovered so far. 4 have been identified. Risks of fresh avalanches on the world's highest battlefield continue to be as real as ever. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
We'll keep an eye out for developments there. Meanwhile, it was another day of revelations in the Mumbai court as LET operative David Coleman Headley gave a deposition via video conferencing, making more startling revelations that detail the extent of Lashkar's planning before the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. Headley told the court that the terror outfit had planned an attack a year before 26/11. In fact, at that time, they were targeting India's defense scientists, but that attack was called off as the scientists' meet was cancelled.
The Lashkar-e-Toiba planned to target India's defense scientists a year before the 26/11 strikes. The attack was averted when the meeting of the scientists was called off. The LET operative turned approver David Coleman Headley also testified that Pakistan's inter-services intelligence had asked him to recruit Indian army men to spy for them.
I did ask him, why did you videograph the second floor of Hotel Taj? On my query, he replied that Lashkar-e-Toiba wanted to attack on a particular day when the Indian Scientist Conference was going to be held.
Headley also revealed in court on Tuesday that he had conducted a recce of the Taj Mahal Hotel, the Naval Air Station and the Siddhivinayak Temple on his visits to India. Headley claims he also selected the landing sites for the terrorists. Headley used GPS during his visits to Mumbai so that the exact location of targets and locations in the Arabian Sea could be stored. Headley says he handed over all the photographs, videos and the GPS to Sajid Mir and Abu Kahfa.
He has disclosed his close association with ISI, and he said that he was working for ISI also. I did ask him to whom he was knowing about the ISI people. He said that Brigadier Riaz, then he said Colonel Shah. He also said that Lieutenant Colonel Hamza and one Major Samar Ali. Initially he said that Samar Ali, he don't know exact, but when pointed out his telephone number which he had saved in his email account, then he readily agreed. David Headley further confirmed that ISI and Lashkar-e-Toiba had a close nexus with each other. I did ask him how you can say that and on what ground you say that. Then he said that ISI provides the financial, then moral, as well as the military support to the Lashkar-e-Toiba.
During the deposition, Headley has, as was expected, revealed a lot of details about his various associations with the LET ISI formations, individuals and organizations, and how he went about planning a number of things along with the other people. So we'll have to wait till we get to the completion of his evidence, after which we will weigh the various pieces of evidence that he has thrown up, and we'll try to incorporate in our case so as to make our case solid.
Meanwhile, the US has said it was ready to assist India in pursuing every possible lead to bring the perpetrators of the attack to justice. US State Department spokesperson John Kirby said his country's commitment was indicative of the close ties between India and America. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
President Pranab Mukherjee on Tuesday presided over the Conference of Governors at Rashtrapati Bhavan. During his inaugural address at the conference, Pranab Mukherjee stressed on the rising pollution levels in Indian cities and urged for the urgent steps to tackle the problem. The president said that citizens of this country have a right to lead a healthy, happy and productive life. He also said that climate change has moved center stage in policy formulation and its ill effects are visible in the abnormal behavior of nature in recent times. 23 governors and 2 lieutenant governors of the states and union territories are attending this two-day conference. Along with the President, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Rajnath Singh, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and a host of other leaders from various ministries are participating in the event. In more news, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi began his two-day visit to the poll-bound state of Kerala on Tuesday, meeting party leaders to discuss strategies for the upcoming assembly polls in the state. Rahul also addressed party workers during the concluding part of a rally featuring the party's state unit chief V.M. Sudhiran. His visit comes at an interesting time when Kerala Chief Minister and senior Congress leader Oommen Chandy is under fire for his alleged involvement in the solar company controversy. Gandhi will also meet office bearers and party leaders at the executive meeting of the Kerala Pradesh Congress Committee on Wednesday, in which a number of issues related to the upcoming elections and the party's political strategy are likely to come up. Sensing the gravity of the farmers' suicide issue and their ire over the central government's failure to address their woes, Rahul Gandhi blasted the Prime Minister Modi for his failure to stop it and for his failure to fulfill any of his poll promises.
Narendra Modi ji came to power in the 2014 elections by spreading anger between different people in this country. And at the same time, he made tremendous promises to the people of this country, to the youth of this country. He told the farmers of this country that they would be protected and they would be given a fair price for their produce. And he told the housewives that the prices would come down. But the moment he took power, all those promises were forgotten.
Now, in a fresh attempt to end the political impasse in Jammu and Kashmir, BJP General Secretary Ram Madhav will hold talks with PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti next week after the 40-day mourning period of the death of Mufti Mohammad Saeed ends. While the BJP wants to end the uncertainty over government formation before the budget session, the PDP leadership wants BJP to spell out the confidence-building measures that the centre is willing to take for the people of the state. The PDP wants the union government to make some concessions on its Kashmir-centric political agenda, including relaxation in the controversial Armed Forces Special Powers Act, a demand that the BJP has rejected in the past. The state was put under President's rule on the 8th of January, a day after the death of the then Chief Minister Mufti Mohammad Saeed. Gold prices on Tuesday regained the 28,000 mark, soaring to 710 rupees to trade at its highest level in the past year. The precious metal had gained 825 rupees in the last 8 days. Silver also reclaimed the 37,000 rupee mark by rising 1,180 rupees to 37,230 rupees per kilogram. The rise came on increased offtake by industrial units and coin makers. In the national capital, the gold of 99.9 and 99.5% purity zoomed by 710 rupees each to 28,585 and 28,435 rupees per 10 grams respectively, a level last seen on the 21st of January 2015. Depreciating rupee against the dollar made imports costlier, and shifting of funds from weakening equity to bullion also supported the upside. With that, let's take you through some other quick national news updates in Nationwide. Uttar Pradesh Panchayati Raj Minister Kailash Yadav passed away on Tuesday following a brain hemorrhage. The UP Assembly, which was in session, was adjourned for the day, and Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav read the condolence message. The Assembly will now meet on the 11th of February. The National Green Tribunal has wrapped Delhi Jal Board for spending money on Yamuna without its permission. The NGT observed that the pollution level in the river has worsened despite the expenses. The Green Panel pointed out that the board suffered expenses mainly on drain-related works. Meanwhile, the CEO of the DJP said that the expenditure on drain integration work was carried out in pursuance to orders of the Delhi High Court. The latest Law Ministry data says that over 2 crore cases are pending in the country's lower courts. Over 41% of the cases are less than 2-year-old, while over 10% have been pending for over a decade. The Department of Justice says that one of the biggest problems facing policymakers in this field is the lack of any benchmark to determine when a case should be considered delayed. The Supreme Court today dismissed the plea of 2 rebel Congress MLAs of Arunachal Pradesh, upholding the action of then Assembly Speaker Nabam Rebia to accept their resignations. The Apex Court also asked the centre to produce a list of all documents seized from the offices and residences of the deposed Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Nabam Tuki and his ministers. The documents were seized on the orders of Governor J.P. Rajkhowa hours after emergency was declared in the state. A delegation of the Congress party led by senior leader Ajay Maken today marched towards Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh's residence. This to seek his intervention in the battle for funds between the Delhi government and the municipal corporations. Maken also alleged that there is exploitation of ad hoc and temporary employees of the MCD. With that, a quick break here. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
All the parties, they are looking for political marriages at the moment. They are trying to enter into some kind of an alliance. But yours is the only party which is focusing you as the chief ministerial candidate.
In this election, we are the one who will allocate the seats, and that's not going to be the opposite leg.
Another reality of your party is that it is seen as a very casteist party.
PMK is the only party who has done maximum for the Dalits than any other party in Tamil Nadu.
Watch To The Point with PMK leader Dr. Ambumani Ramadas only on Rajya Sabha television.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue. Each square in turn also narrates a message of wisdom.
Wake up to a complete roundup of news from India and abroad. Politics, strategy, business, sports. Keen analysis to kickstart your day. Watch Breakfast News weekdays at 8 a.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's get you some more news now. And former Nepal Prime Minister and the leader of the Nepali Congress, Sushil Koirala, passed away this morning due to pneumonia. He was 79 years old. Koirala died at his residence in Maharajganj on the outskirts of capital Kathmandu. He was earlier successfully treated for lung cancer in the US. Koirala's body has been kept at Dashrath Stadium to enable party cadres and others to pay their tributes. The funeral will be held on Wednesday with full state honours. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled Koirala's demise, saying that India has lost a valued friend. President Pranab Mukherjee and Congress President Sonia Gandhi, along with several other leaders, also condoled his death. Koirala was credited with the promulgation of Nepal's new constitution, and after protests erupted from the Madhesi camp, he also attempted to resolve the issue by negotiating with them. Koirala was also instrumental in the fight for democracy in Nepal, leading the protests that ended a centuries-old monarchy system. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj is leading an all-party delegation to Nepal for his funeral.
नेपालको लोकतान्त्रिक आन्दोलनका एउटा अथक योगदान जसको असाधारण योगदान रहिआएको छ उहाँको निधन भएको छ र यस दुःखको घडीमा म दुःख व्यक्त गर्दै उहाँप्रति हार्दिक श्रद्धासुमन अर्पण गर्न चाहन्छु।
Over to Hong Kong now, and at least 100 people, including policemen, were injured when a protest against government crackdown on street vendors in Mong Kong escalated on Monday night. Demonstrators hurled bottles and garbage cans at police officers, even as police responded with pepper spray and warning shots. It is noteworthy that Mong Kok was also a crucible of the pro-democracy unrest of 2014.
Violent start to the Lunar New Year in Hong Kong. Clashes broke out in Mong Kok district overnight, injuring at least 100 people after police cleared illegal food stalls set up for the New Year celebrations. Angry protesters hurled bottles, bricks and garbage cans at the police. Police used batons and pepper spray and fired 2 warning shots into the air. At least 54 people have been arrested.
The SAR government strongly condemns such violent acts. The police will apprehend the mobs and bring them to justice. Also, I send my regards to police officers and members of the media who were injured in the riot.
While street stalls are common in the Mong Kok area year-round, they are especially popular at this time, selling traditional New Year snacks. At the time of the planned crackdown on hawkers, hundreds gathered in the area to defend them, resulting in the clashes. The Hong Kong chief executive defended the police actions, saying the protesters had asked for it.
今次事件係一宗有組織、有計劃嘅暴力事件，警方一定會嚴正執法，並全力繼續調查同埋追究事件，將會有進一步嘅拘捕行動。
Normalcy is slowly returning to the city, with the underground rail network, the MTR, that had closed in the area after the riots, now being reopened. The city's scheduled firework display planned for Tuesday night above the harbour would also go ahead as planned. The clashes come at a time of worsening relations between Hong Kong and the central Chinese government. In 2014, Hong Kong had seen massive pro-democracy street protests. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the US says that North Korea's latest satellite might be a dud. Washington said that the satellite North Korea fired into space on Sunday was stumbling into orbit and was useless, like the one that the country launched in 2012. It did, however, stress that the same technology can deliver a nuclear warhead a case enough for stronger sanctions. Here's more.
Shadows of doubt over the functionality of North Korean satellite that was launched on Sunday. The US says the satellite was tumbling in orbit and was incapable of functioning in any useful way. South Korea has recovered about 270 pieces of debris believed to have come from the rocket launch from the ocean and is working to analyze the objects.
북한이 이번에 발사한 장거리 미사일은 지난 2012년 발사한 장거리 미사일과 유사한 수준인 것으로 평가하고 있습니다.
That one had claimed to have put a communication satellite into orbit, but no signal has ever been detected. But even though it says the satellite won't work, the US fears the same technology could be used for a nuclear-armed intercontinental ballistic missile to reach its country. The UN Security Council has promised strong action. Washington, too, has vowed serious consequences.
There certainly is an agreement about the fact that about an impactful response being necessary. That means considering a range of economic sanctions that would further isolate North Korea. And it would also mean a clear signal, or I guess an additional clear signal to the North Koreans, that the resolve of the international community here is firm.
Like on previous occasions, though, the 2012 satellite launch or the January hydrogen bomb test, North Korea remains in celebration mode over what it terms a scientific breakthrough. Accusations and threats from the world community go ignored and unheard. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you some more international news updates in Global Buzz. More signs of life have been found in the debris of a building in Taiwan 3 days after it collapsed during a powerful earthquake. Search and rescue work was underway at the site, with rescuers proceeding carefully. Rescuers have turned their attention to reaching victims now, an estimated 100 trapped in deeper layers of rubble. Dozens of refugees were rescued from the Aegean Sea on Monday. The Greek Coast Guard came across several rubber dinghies crammed with migrants, mainly from Syria and Afghanistan, and towed them to safety. They rescued more than 300 people in just under 2 hours. Nine people were killed when two trains collided head-on in Germany this morning. About 150 people were injured, including 10 very seriously. The cause of the accident is unclear, and police said that alongside the rescue effort, investigations are starting into establishing what had happened. A suicide car bomber blew himself up at a police officers' club today, killing 20 with at least 40 injured. The Islamic State has claimed responsibility and named the bomber as Abu Abdul Rahman al-Shami. Their statement said that Shami had turned his enemies' tranquility into horror in order to avenge the suffering of fellow Sunni Muslims. The Hindu minority community in Pakistan will soon have a marriage law, as a parliamentary panel has unanimously approved the Hindu marriage bill. The National Assembly Standing Committee on Law and Justice passed the final draft of the Hindu Marriage Bill 2015 after decades of delay and inaction. And now let's change tracks. Get you the latest in the world of sports with Sports Beat. Three-time champions India continued their invincible run to enter the ICC Under-19 World Cup final for a fifth time with an emphatic 97-run win over Sri Lanka in the semi-finals in Mirpur today. India did well to reach 267 for 9 after a shaky start before putting up an impressive effort with the ball to dismiss Sri Lanka for 170 in 42.4 overs. The three-time champions now await either West Indies or hosts Bangladesh in the final, to be played on the 14th of February. But a lackluster Indian side suffered a 1-2 defeat at the hands of arch-rivals Pakistan in their much-anticipated group match of the men's hockey event at the 12th South Asian Games. Mohammad Arslan Qadir scored both goals for Pakistan in the 11th and the 37th minutes, while Indian captain Mandeep Antil pulled one back in the 55th minute of the match. Aaron Finch has been dumped as Australia's captain in the shortest form of the game and replaced by Test skipper Steve Smith just a month before the start of the World 2020. Finch, who has been struggling with a hamstring injury, was named captain in September 2014, but only skippered the side on 6 occasions as Australia concentrated on other forms of the game. In tennis, Venus Williams defeated Poland's Magda Linette to give the United States a 3-love win in their Fed Cup World Group 2 first-round tie in Hawaii. Williams secured a convincing 6-1, 6-2 win in 61 minutes, a 19th Fed Cup singles victory. The US dropped out of the World Group in 2014, but will be looking to fight their way back into the top tier of the competition when the next round takes place in April. And finally, the famed Rio Carnival got underway in the Brazilian capital. 5 days of music, dancing and glittering costumes, and nearly 2 million people attending to make it the biggest street party of its kind in the world. We leave you today now with glimpses of this extravaganza.